I was gonna make a video about awful grades that I've gotten, but I really don't want to take accountability for those, so I figured I'd talk about how I cannot stand existing in some of my classes. I don't know if it's that some classes are tailor-made to drain me of any drop of entertaining substance, or it's that I just can't pay attention for extended periods of time, but for the sake of the video, we're going with the prior. I've had some dog butt classes over my many years, but college has given me some experiences that take the cake. For instance, I've never had a more mind-numbing experience than my art history class. It could be that I'm sitting at the back of the class, but I can't understand a word that comes out of my teacher's mouth. His accent is so strong, he might as well still be speaking his original language, but I respect him for trying. What I don't respect is that he spends a single class going over a few different art pieces at the pace of a tortoise spaced out on Benadryl. Sitting through that entire class makes me feel like I'm actively being lobotomized. It's a good thing, then, that I don't have to stay for the whole class. See, most teachers take attendance at the end of class to make sure everyone stays the whole time. My teacher decided it would be a good idea to take attendance at the very beginning. So, for most people in the class, you stroll in, make sure you get counted as present, and then leave before the PowerPoint slide even loads. Every single class this was the case, and our teacher looked visibly distraught about it. You'd think I, being the stand-up guy that I am, would see this and make sure I'm one of the good students that stay, right? Wrong. What's that? I can't hear you over the sound of this comically squeaky door. If we want to talk peak boring, it's gotta be the classes that you care nothing about but just take for the credit. Like, at least I make what I call art, so art history isn't that far-fetched, but why was I in a biology lab? The only thing animation has to do with science is calculating the chemical compounds that make up this 5-hour energy I'm about to crush to finish this video. That class was 3 hours long, and I'm pretty sure I witnessed the life cycle of most of my brain cells just sitting in there. Our professor would spend the first hour of class trying to explain concepts to us that I really couldn't comprehend without popping a cork in my noggin, so I just tried to do what the book said, and that worked pretty well. The only good part about that class was that we got to leave as soon as we were done with our lab report, so with that incentive, my boredom drove my productivity. The only interesting thing that happened in that class was when I accidentally splashed some E. coli in my eye, but that certainly didn't have any long-lasting side effects. I have never been more distracted, and to be completely honest, I've never been a worse student than when I'm in my atmosphere class. First off, our teacher set the bar real low when she said we could pass with a 50. Second, having my MacBook in front of me is detrimental to my focus, but I also need it for the class. We're supposed to be following along with what our teacher's doing because she practically gives us the answers to the assignments, but what makes more sense is playing Flappy Bird on my computer, and then when the work is all done, and then right back to Flappy Bird. This method is great for getting good grades on the assignments, which make up most of the grade, but when it comes to understanding the information long-term, every time I come to this class, I regret it, and I think I'd be more entertained watching paint dry for an hour. One day I came up with a plan to skip most of class and only show up for the last part and still sign the attendance sheet. Devious, I know. Thankfully, my moral compass only allowed me to show up about 15 minutes late. But I'm also glad I didn't go through with it because I didn't realize that the second I opened the door, everyone was going to turn around and stare at me. I also didn't take into account the fact that my teacher could obviously see that I would come in extremely late, so my plan was so dumb it's kind of obvious why I need school. If I'm being completely honest though, I don't really know how much I need this introduction to animation class. I'm sure the classes get more complicated down the line, but our first project was another bouncing ball. I've animated so many bouncing balls that they've started to burn into my vision. That or I've been staring at the sun too long. Going over the basics of animation again, like all 12 principles and the history of animation, was boring, only because, like, that's my whole thing. It's like reading a book and someone's there next to you saying, "Okay, now sound this one out, go away." Even though I've already learned all this, and the 12 principles of animation are basically programmed into my muscle memory, this class is very humbling. Sometimes I meet people going into the animation concentration, but they say they've never animated before, which in my mind is insane. Animation is a skill that takes years to hone and get good at, and you're just winging it. But what these people are making in this introductory class puts what I did when I first started to shame. Also, I may have figured out the reason why I get so bored in all these classes. So, I keep scheduling 8 a.m.s for myself because I think it helps me stay disciplined. But I'm not sure discipline looks like slithering out of bed with cotton mouth and messy hair. I never wanted to be one of those, don't talk to me unless I've had my morning coffee people. But honestly, if I can't even communicate properly in the morning, why would I hinge my entire academic future on 8 a.m. classes? That's like a skydiver trusting in a parachute made out of hopes and dreams. I didn't come up with a conclusion to the video, so I'll keep you guys updated on how my classes are going. I'm really excited to make more videos, and I think this style is going to help me make more videos on top of looking really cool. If you liked my video, consider subscribing and sticking around. I've got more content coming, and hopefully it'll come as soon as a year. I'm setting your expectations low, so hopefully I'll surprise you. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.